Richela Morgan, and this is ArtsWestchester's virtual workshop.
Creating colorful art with ink or print transfers is easy, inexpensive, and most of all fun. Chances are everything that you need is in your home, and you didn't even know it. Today I'll show you 3 different transfer methods using white glue like Elmer's glue, clear packing tape, and a cleaning solvent. The best kind is a citrus-based degreaser like Citrusolve or Zep, but you can also use nail polish remover. Just make sure your workspace is well ventilated. It gets kind of smelly. The best boxes to use are the food packaging type, but be sure the unprinted side, also known as the verso side, does not have a wax or plastic coating. You want the surface to be able to absorb ink. These are our mini canvases. You are only interested in the larger panels of each box and will cut them out along the folds. The color of the unprinted sides can vary from different shades of brown to white. You should try using them all and see how the various colors and images react to each one. One last comment about the boxes. Because they are small, the resulting artwork is manageable. You could complete 2 or 3 in one sitting and even work on several at once. Before you begin, make sure you have a healthy inventory of magazine, newspaper, and even brochure pages. Personally, I look for bright and bold colors, and I tend to collect ads and travel photos. I'm going to start with the solvent transfer. After selecting my image and trimming it down to the size of my cardboard, I place my cardboard, unprinted side up, onto my table. The cardboard I'm using is a little darker than I wanted, so I decide to add a bit of white marker. I also want to see if there will be a difference in color in the resulting ink transfer. I place my image face down on top of the cardboard and hold it in position with small pieces of blue painter's tape. Then I pour about a teaspoon of solvent into a plastic bottle cap. And using a cotton swab, I apply the solvent to the back of the image until it is completely covered. Using the back of a spoon or a bone folder, I burnish the image into the cardboard. Seeing the difference between the white marker area and the unprinted area, I decide to try another solvent transfer with no marker on the brown cardboard. I also decide to use a bone folder instead of a spoon to burnish the image. All that work, and not a very good result. But I'll hold on to it because I feel like I could do something more with it. So I try using a white piece of cardboard. I also use an image with brighter colors. The result is a cleaner and more successful ink transfer. The next type of transfer is probably the easiest one, the tape transfer. I start with a small black and white image, and not even the entire image. I'm just interested in the eyes and the nose and part of the lips, and I make sure to overlap the pieces of tape by 1/8 of an inch. I carefully flip it over and trim it down to the taped over section only. This means cutting off the extra tape on the outer edges and cutting off the excess magazine on the top and bottom edges. Then I place it face down on the work table and glide a bone folder over the backside to get rid of any air bubbles. Using a spray bottle full of water, I completely soak the backside, then use my fingers to rub the water into the fibers of the paper. The paper starts to curl and rub off, which is the desired effect. The water loosens the paper from the tape, but the image remains. Once the majority of the pulp is removed, I spray the backside once more and use a paper towel to gently wipe off any remaining pulp. This transfer is a success, and now I want to try a larger black and white image. This will use several pieces of tape that need to overlap at the long edges, creating one big connected sticky substrate. I repeat the same steps of gently flipping the image over and cutting the excess paper and tape along the outer edges. I glide the bone folder along the back to get rid of air bubbles. Then completely drench the backside with water using a spray bottle. And use my fingers to rub the water into the fibers, curling the paper off the tape. A word about those wet, curled bits of paper pulp. Be sure to throw it in the garbage. Some artists suggest soaking these pieces of tape transfer in a bowl of water to remove the pulp. While this method makes the removal easier, afterwards there is a tendency to dump the bowl of water into the sink, pulp and all. And I'm here to say, don't do it. The pulp will clog your sink. The large black and white tape transfer came out well. I also tried this technique on a few color images, which made them translucent and gave one of them a ghostly effect. A glue print transfer requires some patience and a tolerance for getting your hands dirty. And be sure to do this transfer on top of a melamine surface or plastic mat that you can wipe down with a damp sponge after you are done. First, I spread a thin layer of glue on top of my cardboard with my fingers. Then I place my image face down on top of the cardboard. I glide a bone folder over the back of the image, removing any air pockets between the image and the cardboard. A bit of glue leaks out on the sides, but that's okay. I don't glide the bone folder for very long or else the paper will rip. And then I let it dry for at least 40 minutes. Instead of soaking the backside using a spray bottle, I pour a tablespoon of water into a bottle cap. I dip my finger in the water and gently wet the back of the image, carefully removing the paper pulp. This takes a little bit of finesse because the white glue is water-based, and if I press too hard, I could remove the ink transfer from the cardboard. So I have to work slowly and methodically. After I'm done, there's still a layer of pulp obscuring the image. I apply a little bit of oil with my fingers to the pulp to make it translucent. I use baby oil, but you can use any kind of oil. Now it was time to try combining some of the techniques. Here, I'm placing my tape transfer on top of my glue transfer. The back of the tape lost some of its stickiness, so I'll add a bit of glue from a glue stick to hold it in position, and trim off the excess piece of the tape transfer on the left edge. I found these eyes, and I want to transfer it with glue on top of my solvent transfer. Let's now take a look at some of the other pieces that I made. The first one is a work in progress piece that I used to work out different ideas. The back is a solvent transfer that had too much ink on it. The top portion is a glue transfer. I learned that glue transfers work better than solvent transfers when using images with oversaturated colors. This tape transfer made me realize that color images of people can come out a little creepy, like in this piece. This is a tape transfer on top of glue and solvent transfers. I also added a little bit of white pencil to the background for a bit of contrast. I worked on this piece a little bit more by adding collage elements to the top. I also added a little bit of white China marker to the eyes to make them pop a bit. This piece is still a work in progress. I added a glue transfer to the top, but that didn't turn out so well, so I added some collage elements, and it's still not getting there. Same with this one, still a work in progress. The skull on the right is a glue transfer, and the rest of it are added collage elements. It's just missing something. This last one is almost done. I think it just needs some words or typography, some letters. But I could wait until I find something. I added another glue transfer to the bottom, and then 2 tape transfers, the butterfly and the flower. All these mini works of mixed media were made with materials from around my house. Some were more successful than others, some are still works in progress, but they're all expressions of my creativity. And I did it all with glue, tape, a cleaner, some boxes, and magazines.